you people, I was actually reminding you that last week we looked at the effects of the missionary activities in East Africa, and there were so many. There were so many. We might not actually go back to look at them. We don't have that time. So what we are going to do now, we are going to look at something new. It is different from what it is different from missionaries as a topic, and we are now going to look at trade in East Africa. Okay, we are going to look at trade in East Africa, and that is what we are going to look at. What you see on your screen is there. We are going to look at what we call local and external trade. Okay, contacts in East Africa before 1880. Before 1880. You understand? Before 1880, before colonialism. Okay, so, and specifically, we are going to be looking at what we call the Indian Ocean trade. But again, under the Indian Ocean trade, we are majorly going to concentrate on slavery and slave trade. You understand? We are going to look at what we call the Indian Ocean trade. But under the Indian Ocean trade, we are majorly going to concentrate on slavery and slave trade in East Africa. These two are totally different, slavery and slave trade. We shall define that, don't worry. We are going to see the difference between slavery and slave trade, okay? Okay, I thought there is something, okay, nothing much in the chat. Okay, I've been telling you that this is what we are going to look at, local and external trade in East Africa, but of course concentrating on what we call the Indian Ocean trade. And under the Indian Ocean trade, we are majorly going to be looking at slavery and slave trade. But this is what we should get to understand before we go to slavery and slave trade. We need to know about this Indian Ocean trade, right? We need to know what it was all about. Now, before I give you my information here, could someone be knowing, okay, what we mean by the Indian Ocean trade? Could someone there be knowing the meaning of the Indian Ocean trade? If you know, you can put up your hand and then you give us your contribution. All right, I have Rita. Unmute. Yes, Rita? Are you saying something?
No, teacher, it is not me.
Sorry?
Maybe it is another Rita.
Okay, I've seen the
No.
hand up. Now what you do, you lower it, because I think you did not lower it.
No, teacher. Maybe it is another Rita.
What I'm saying, you lower your hand, okay? Because it is still up. Okay. Sharon. Sharon.
Indian Ocean trade.
Yes, Sharon. Oh, we've lost Sharon. Yes. Okay. Okay, someone who is using the techno common, unmute. Yes. Someone using the, okay, I think I should look at someone else. Olum David, unmute. What is happening? I can see your hands up, but you are not contributing. Okay, Henry Daniel, unmute.
Teacher.
Yes.
Indian Ocean trade is the trade between the locals of the East African coast and the other areas using the Indian Ocean.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that contribution. He has got something about the Indian Ocean trade. He has told us that it is a trade between the coastal people and people coming from Asia and yeah, majorly Asia. Thank you for that contribution. All right. I have Yafet, unmute.
Indian Ocean trade was the trade carried out between East African countries and Europe across the Indian Ocean.
Okay, thank you, Yafet. Is saying that it was trade between the people of East Africa and those ones coming from Europe. Well, to an extent, Europeans, yes, I can say, but it was majorly between the people of East Africa and people from Asia, like that. Okay. Then Davis, unmute. Aloysius. Davis, Aloysius, yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
The Indian Ocean trade involved the people of the coastal of the people on the coast and the Arabs.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that contribution. The coastal people and the Arabs. Yes, to an extent, we can say yes, the coastal people and the Arabs. Those some other people are left out. But thank you for that contribution. Then I have Shadik Pounds, unmute. Shadik Pounds, unmute. Okay, I think Shadik has issues over there. Then I have Natasha, Tracy, and Hannah. Oh, okay, wait a moment. Shadik. Shadik, yes. Oh, unfortunately, you've been breaking. We've not heard what you've been saying, but nevertheless, thank you. Then in Natasha, Tracy, and Hannah, one of you should give us her contribution.
Indian Ocean trade was the trade carried out between traders and coastal people in the countries that have Indian Ocean as their seaport.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. She has got something, yes, at least something similar to what we are looking at. People that had the Indian Ocean as their coast. Well, okay, maybe she's talking about coastal people, but nevertheless, thank you. Shalom, yes, Shalom, unmute. Shalom, unmute. Okay. In the interest of time, I might not be in a position to at least have you all contributing. But thank you for showing interest. Let us try to introduce.
Was and
Sharon.
Indian
Sharon.
Ocean trade. Indian Ocean trade was the trade between the Arabs and the interior people of East Africa on the coast.
Thank you for that wonderful contribution. Yes, the Arabs, the people in the interior, the people at the coast of East Africa. Thank you for that wonderful contribution. Now, I've already said in the interest of time, thank you for showing interest. I can see people's hands is still up, but we don't have a time to at least give each and everyone a chance. Thank you for showing interest. I will come back to you and you will contribute on something else. Now, the Indian Ocean trade is what we are looking at, and we are introducing it, of course. Some people have given us their comments there, the introduction and all that. But I can also give you what I have here. So I'm telling you this was a trade between the coastal people of East Africa. That is majorly the Bantu and the Cushite Sea, okay? For when we talk about the people of East Africa, we are talking about the Bantu and the Cushites. But one would ask me, who are the Cushites? These are Ethiopians, okay? The Bantu and the Ethiopians and the Arabs from Persia and Saudi Arabia. Have you heard it? The Arabs from Persia and Saudi Arabia. One would ask me, what is Persia? Persia is current day Iran. You understand? Persia is current day Iran. So I think people have got that. Now I can see your hands are still up, but as I've already told you, I will be choosing you for some other. Now I've told you that between the first people and the Arabs, majorly from Persia and then Saudi Arabia. Then we also had some other people, by the way, not only those ones. We had other people from Egypt, then others were from Greece, then India, then Indonesia, Malaysia, Syria, China. So you can see different groups of people were part of this trade. You understand? We've looked at people coming from Greece, others coming from Malaysia, then Syria, and so many others. Now, why was it called the Indian Ocean trade? It was called the Indian Ocean trade simply because it was conducted mainly across the Indian Ocean. Mainly across the Indian Ocean. Now, but I've talked about that other people. I've talked about people from Malaysia, Syria, Egypt. Now, that brings in some other water bodies apart from the Indian Ocean. You understand? Then we talk about the Mediterranean Sea was also there as another water body. You understand? Then we can also talk about which other sea can we talk about? The Red Sea, by the way. You understand? Because we have seen people coming from Egypt and then others coming from Greece. So that means those ones used the Red Sea and then you connected it to the Mediterranean Sea, then the Indian Ocean. So that is why it was majorly referred to as the Indian Ocean trade. Now, those ones coming from Europe, coming from Asia, were brought in they came using doors, okay? They came using doors, and these doors were blown by the monsoon winds. Monsoon winds. These are winds on the Indian Ocean, okay? Between November and April, they could blow towards the direction of East Africa. You understand? So that was the time when these people used it to come. Then I think from May to October, then they would blow to the northeast, going back to Asia. So that is major. Maybe what we can talk about is the towns that were involved. There was Kilwa, there was which other town? There was Malindi, there was Mombasa, there was Mogadishu. Some of those ones are the towns that got involved in this trade. And maybe what I can talk about, the goods they traded in. From Africa, of course, they took copper, they took rhinoceros horns, they took slaves, by the way, gold, skins, that is from Africa. And then from Europe, Africans could get so many goods, by the way. Africans could get they could get beads, they could get mirrors, they could get guns, you know. That is major what Africans got from these people from outside. Now, majorly that is what we can talk about when we are introducing the Indian Ocean trade. So I think you've heard that, but as I've told you that we are majorly going to concentrate on slaves and slavery. Slaves and slavery under the Indian Ocean trade. So I've given you that introduction, briefly talking about the Indian Ocean trade, but for us, we are majorly going to concentrate on slaves and slavery, okay? Now, one would like to know the difference between slaves and slave trade and slavery, okay? We would like to know the difference between slave trade and slavery, because I've told you under the Indian Ocean trade, we are going to concentrate on slave trade and slavery. Okay, some people have put up their hands. I believe they want to participate. Okay, telling us what is okay. I have Yafet. Are you telling us the difference between slave trade and slavery? Unmute. Yafet, you can unmute. Yafet, are you unmuting? Okay, I think the hand remained up. Then Shadik, unmute. Shadik Pounds, unmute and give us your contribution. Shadik? Okay. Sharon, unmute and give us your contribution. Well, I don't know that your hands just remained up, but I'm asking you to, yes, Sharon?
Slavery is the system which was used by people to sell and buy slaves. While slave trade was a trade in which involved the movement of Arabs to East Africa to take slaves.
Okay. Thank you for that good trial. Someone has been trying to tell us the difference between slave trade and slavery. Thank you for that good trial. Then I have Mark Apusasia, unmute and give us your contribution.
Yes, teacher. Me, I think that slaves were people taken to do European work to help the whites, and then slavery was the act of taking people to do the work, working on farms, working on different workplaces. Yeah, that's my idea.
Okay, thank you for that contribution also. This one is talking about owning people, like Europeans owning Africans to do for them work, and then slave trade is taking people out. Yeah, there is some element of what we need. Thank you for that contribution. Patricia, unmute and give us a contribution. Patricia, are you contributing? Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Slavery is any system in which principles of property law are applied to people, allow individuals to own, buy and sell other individuals.
Yes. So that is slavery.
Then slave trade is the transporting and selling of human beings as slaves.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. That is the definition I was waiting for. Thank you so much, Patricia. That is the definition of slavery and then slave trade. Wonderful, wonderful. Now that we've got the right answer, someone has given us the right answer, then others will contribute on something else. Please, you can lower your hands. We'll look at something. Now, someone has told us that slavery is a system in which the principles of property law are applied. The way I have it here, that slavery is any system in which principles of allowing individuals to own a system where someone owns a human as his property. You understand? Then someone can sell a human being as if he's selling a property. That is what we call slavery. Now, he tell you that an enslaved person is unable to such an arrangement and works. Okay. Yes, I'm now back. So we are actually saying that the moment someone is owned as a slave, this person is not even paid. Someone is working but is not paid. And this person does not have, like, you don't have any freedom. You are someone's property. That is slavery. Then slave trade is an act of procuring, transporting, and selling of human beings. You've heard procuring, transporting, and selling of human beings as slaves. Here we look at someone coming, takes a human being out of his country to another country, you understand? And then this person is given money procuring, transporting, and selling of human beings as slaves. This was carried out on almost all coasts along the African continent, indeed. So you've seen what we mean by slavery and then slave trade. From there, we can now go and look at yes, I think you can see that picture there. A picture showing, I think, an Arab, the one you can see putting on. You can see this person on the right. I think is the one now taking these slaves, and that is how they used to take them. Okay, they have chains, around their necks. I think you can see, and they are also carrying certain things. Now, specifically, those ones I think were carrying the clothes to the coast of East Africa. So, or from the coast to majorly to the coast anyway. So that is a picture showing us how these people were taken into slavery by the slave trade dealers. Now, from there, we've gone to what we call reasons for the development of slave trade and slavery. Reasons for the development of slave trade and slavery. Why slave trade was practiced in East Africa, or slave trade, why the people of East Africa, okay, practiced in this slave trade. We are asking ourselves the reason why, and the reasons are so many, so many. I don't know that some people would like to contribute to give us some of the reasons why there was development of slave trade and slavery in East Africa. I don't know whether, okay. Let me assume that Sharon, you are putting up your hand. You didn't just leave it there. So if you are putting up your hand to contribute, unmute. Okay, I think you just left it there. I have Jacqueline now. Jacqueline, you can unmute yourself and contribute.
Some African cultural leaders were interested in slave trade.
Thank you. That is a good point. Some African cultural leaders were interested in it. Indeed, yes. And that is why it was practiced. Then I have really. You can also unmute. Really, you can unmute and give us your contribution.
Africans were still benefiting in it.
Thank you. Africans were benefiting in it. Yes, some African chiefs benefited from this slave trade and slavery. That is why it developed in East Africa. Okay, I have Priya, unmute.
Well, I want to say the colonialists needed slaves to work at their farms.
Yes, thank you for that. The colonialists needed slaves, indeed. There was industrial revolution. They had to have slaves go to Europe and grow the raw materials, the cash crops, and all of that. Anyway, I have Stephen, unmute.
African kings and chiefs were supporting it.
Thank you. African chiefs and kings were supporting it. Very true. I have your fate. Unmute.
Some African leaders used slaves in exchange for weapons like guns.
Yes, thank you. People could be used in exchange for guns. I have Walter. Walter.
And just some chiefs and kings thought that their kingdoms will develop.
Oh, okay. So they used it as a tool for developing their kingdoms. Okay, thank you for that also. Then I have Mark Stasila.
I think mine is the same as the other one. Like African kings and queens were benefiting. They used to get products from the whites.
Yes. Okay, thank you for that. Then I have Kasuti Nolin, I think. You can unmute Nolin. Nolini, unmute. Okay, I think Nolin. I've gone to Henry Daniel. Unmute.
It was a source of protection to the kings and chiefs.
Sorry, come again.
The source of protection to the kings and chiefs.
Okay, thank you for that. Slaves were a source of protection. Slaves could protect the chiefs and kings. Okay. Then I have a Yebare, unmute.
Due to the early wars, the kings and chiefs of Africa would sell out the slaves to get weapons from the whites.
Okay, thank you for that. That Africans could be sold in order for the chiefs to get weapons. Then I have Jonathan. Unmute yourself. Semwanga.
Some African natives wanted to get favor from whites.
Yes, some African natives wanted to get favor. That's why they were selling fellow human beings. Robinson, unmute. Robinson, unmute. Okay. Then I have Davis Alosius, unmute.
The kings and the chiefs of Africa, they wanted guns for defense from the Arabs.
Okay, thank you. Now, most of you are rotating around that. And in the interest of time again, please allow me give you what I have for you. Okay, Shamim, unmute.
The availability of highly demanded goods led to the development of the trade, e.g. guns, mirrors, and slaves.
Okay, the availability increased the demand for the items. Okay, that they needed people to carry them, maybe around there. Then I have Kirabo Esther.
It is the work of leaders.
Is the work of leaders. Okay. Now, in the interest of time, I just want to also give you what I've prepared for you. Thank you for what you've contributed. Okay, but I can see people's hands are still up. I will come back to you. Sorry, I will come back to you. Let us try to also look at this information. We need it. There is that point there, and people have given it. People have talked about it, that it was a traditional act, as many East African chiefs and leaders had domestic slaves, and therefore it was part of East African family. You understand? It was a traditional act. Yes. And that is the reason why it developed, because it was culture. Okay. 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 I've been trying to look for. Okay. Please, if you're not contributing, mute yourself. Mute, and then we are okay. So we are talking about being a traditional act, and because it was a traditional act, that is why it developed in East Africa. Then we have this other point here. The coming of Arabs and Persian traders made slave trade more pronounced in East Africa, as slaves were a common commodity in Middle East around the 17th century. So the coming of Arabs were buying people from East Africa or from the coast of East Africa. And these people could be got from the interior by the chiefs. And some Arabs could even go to the interior and get these people from the interior and then sell them to Europe and in some other Arab countries. So yes, there is also that one there. And it goes the Industrial Revolution in Europe, increased the demand for the raw materials, and this could only be produced by the slaves. Okay, so we are talking about industrial revolution. I think someone, okay. Let me, a moment from the chat here. Okay, people are contributing. It was profitable. King's Chiefs wanted gain riches. Yeah, from the chat, I've also seen the contribution there. Okay, someone has not muted, and there is noise coming from there. If you are not contributing, please mute. Okay, all right. Then I can see I have some people's hands up, but do we have all that time? Okay, Robinson, unmute. Robinson. Okay, then I have Davis Alosius. Are you giving us another contribution?
No.
Okay, now what you do, you lower your hands, because when I see them, I think some other people are putting up their hands. So what you do, you lower your hands. If you've already contributed, you lower your hands, okay? Okay, I think Shadika has contributed. You can lower your hand. Okay, now Jacqueline, unmute. Jacqueline, are you contributing? Yes.
Africans had no skills and power to defend themselves.
Okay. Africans had no skills and the power to defend themselves, and that is why they could be taken by the Arabs. Okay. Patience. Patience.
Failure to find alternative sources of labor.
Yes, sir.
Yes, failure to find other sources. I mean, an alternative source to labor. You've got a point, because by that time they had not yet got the machines which would replace labor. That is why they were buying. And in fact, we can tag that point to industrial revolution. Okay. Sam M. Cook, you can unmute.
The Arabs and a lot, or they became rich when they sold African slaves to European countries.
Yes, the trade was profitable. Thank you for that. Abu, unmute.
They were the only source of transport during that time.
Yes, thank you so much. They were the source of transport. They could carry the goods from the interior to the coast. Okay, and that's why they could be taken by the Arabs and the chiefs to carry the goods to the coast. Then I have Mariam. Unmute.
The existence of caravan trade routes in East Africa made the slave trade very possible. Reaching the interior became possible for the coast.
Yes, thank you for that. Caravan routes facilitated this trade. Okay, caravan routes facilitated this trade, and indeed it developed in East Africa. Okay, then I also have Prince Aaron. Unmute. Aaron, unmute and give us your contribution. Okay, I think I should go to someone else. I have Paul Salvatore.
It was cheap.
Okay, Aaron has told us it was cheap. Well, how cheap was it? Okay, but nevertheless, thank you. Okay, Paul.
Slavery was so profitable during that time.
Yes, that is true. It was profitable during that time. I have Aliaka Martin. Unmute. Aliaka Martin. Are you contributing? Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you for showing interest. And in the interest of time, please, let me read for you these other points. You might miss them out because they are here and we have them. But thank you for that contribution. Now you can see slaves working. You understand? You can see, and I think that is cotton. So we are saying they were needed to work in the farms of the Europeans. There we have another point. I will come back to you. People whose hands are up, I'll come back to you. How we have the establishment of slave markets along the East African coast. For example, Kilwa, Zanzibar, and Malindi made slaves to be more demanded and supplied to Asian countries. So the point is clear. The point talks about development of towns, development of markets for slaves. There was a market at Kilwa, there was a market in Zanzibar, there was a market at that place called Malindi, you understand? Of course, Malindi in Kenya, then Kilwa in Tanzania, you understand? So that is one of the reasons why we had the development of slave trade in East Africa. Then we have the desire to eliminate the key prisoners, destitute, witches from the East African communities, and it was a culture within East Africa to sell out to such people. Now, there was a need by the African chiefs to get rid of prisoners. You understand? So if one was a prisoner, one could be sold. If one was a destitute we are looking at someone who is very poor, someone who cannot even provide for himself. You understand? So those ones could be sold. Then the witches, I believe you know witches. These ones were also eliminated because they disorganized the society, most especially the witches. These ones disorganized the society. So those ones could be sold out. So that is one reason why there was development of slave trade. Then the abolition of slave trade in West Africa. Ali made the Portuguese to start coming to East African coast to buy slaves. Yes, we are talking about abolition of slaves in West Africa. Slaves were being bought in West Africa in those early days. And when it was abolished there, now they looked at East Africa as an alternative. That is why it developed in East Africa. Then we have that one, the coming of Saidi, okay, to East Africa. Cost increased the slave trade. The coming of Saidi to East African coast increased the slave trade. And who was Saidi, by the way? Saidi was a sultan in Oman. He was the leader of Oman. He had his capital seat at a place called Muscat. So he decided to transfer his capital from Muscat to Zanzibar. You understand? And at Zanzibar, he established, he came up with sisal plantations and clover plantations. So he needed slaves at the coast there in Zanzibar. At the end of the day, people could be bought from the interior of East Africa to be taken to Saidi. Okay? I can see people have put up their hands. I don't know whether what you have is different from what people have already given. Okay, let me come to you. Jonathan, unmute. Jonathan, unmute. Jonathan is not okay. Then I have Pontius Powell. Unmute.
Failure to find alternative resources of labor.
Yes, thank you. Failure to find an alternative source to labor. Yes, that one. Then I have Luftana, unmute. Luftana, unmute. Luftana.
Racial attitudes. Racial attitudes.
Sorry? Racial
attitudes.
Racial attitudes. Okay. Yeah. You are trying to say that Arabs looked at Africans as inferior people. That is why they bought them. They discriminated racially. Okay, thank you for that contribution. Then I have Jamal. Unmute. Jamal, unmute.
Some African leaders were selfish.
Some African leaders, yes, were selfish. They did not look at other people's lives. That is why they kept on selling them. You are right. Chimera, Andrew, unmute. Chimera, Andrew, unmute. Chimera is, oh, yes, Chimera? Okay, I think Chimera has issues there. Then Sharon, again, are you giving us another contribution? Sharon. Okay.
The collapse of the gold trade along the East Africa forced Arab traders to resort to slave trade as a means of earning a living.
As an alternative trade, the collapse of gold trade forced these people to turn out to slaves as an alternative source, to gold trade. Well, Sammy, unmute. Sammy, okay.
High demand of slaves.
High demand for slaves. Okay, high demand for slaves. Now, thank you so much, people. I can see your hands are still many, but again, we don't have time. There is some information that I also have to add on what you've contributed. Good, it is good that you've contributed, but I also have some information to add on what you've given us, and thank you so much for that contribution. So let us try to have this other point here. There is this other point here. So you can see now the cloves and the sisal that were established by this man, Saidi. Okay. I'll come back to that picture. You wait a moment. Now we have this point here that slaves were used as means of transport. Someone mentioned it as means of transport. They are telling us to look at the figure 711. There is a figure I showed you when we had slaves carrying, when slaves had baskets on their heads. Okay, so we are saying they would carry goods of trade from the interior, and after the sale of ivory, minerals, etc., slaves would also be sold to Asians and the Europeans. So have you heard? They were means of transport. But what is so funny, even the means of transport could be sold after transporting the goods to the coast. And the means of transport I'm talking about, we are now referring to them slaves. There is that other point there, that profits from this trade made many people to get involved deeply for wealthy. For example, the Akamba, the Nyamwezi, the Yawo, okay? The Akamba in Kenya, Nyamwezi, the Yawo in Malawi, and in so many other African countries. These people got concerned simply because they wanted to benefit from this trade because it had a lot of profits. Then there is this other point here, the existence of caravan trade routes. Someone mentioned it, okay? Caravan trade routes made the slave trade very profitable. Then we have that other point, the reception and the hospitality given to outsiders by East Africans made the trade possible. The Asians and the Arab traders enjoyed dealing with East Africans. Now you can see that lady, the way she's, I think, welcoming that white man. Okay, we are saying these East Africans were people that welcomed these people wholeheartedly. You understand? They welcomed them wholeheartedly. They housed them and all that, and this forced them to keep on coming for slaves in East Africa. Okay. Then we have this other point here, which is coming. Yes, there is that one there. Divisions and the interior wars in East Africa made it easier for local leaders to get slaves to be sold to Arabs. Some slaves were war prisoners. You understand? Now, prisoners of war could be sold. Because in East Africa, we had divisions. There were tribal wars, then religious wars, and all these ones are contributed to prisoners of war, and later on the prisoners of war could be sold as slaves. Okay. We've got a few minutes here. I think I can see people whose hands are up. You can still contribute. Joshua, unmute and give us your contribution.
Slavery led to the success of wars of the whites.
Sorry, come again.
It led the success of their wars, the whites. It led to they became rich by using the Africans as means of transport, making them work in their farms and.
Oh, okay. Actually, the point is giving. I think the point is giving us is profits from the trade. Like the trade was profitable, and the whites were benefiting from it. They were getting a lot of money from it, and that is why they kept on buying Africans. Okay, I have Kirabo Elizabeth. Unmute.
Excuse me, teacher. Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, the thing is that at home we never had electricity, so a friend has come and my phone does not have network when electricity is not there. So I actually was asking that you repeat for me the question, then I answer.
Oh, okay. We are looking at reasons for the development of slave trade. But why was there slave trade in East Africa?
Slave trade, slave trade. What can I say? Slave trade encouraged. Actually, let me come. I will again answer that question. Let me first think about the answer.
Yeah. Okay, think about the answer. You'll come back. Okay. Then I have Julius. Okay, Julius. Okay. Okay, Henry Daniel, are you giving us another point? Henry Daniel?
Due to hospitality for the Africans, the slave traders were able to carry out trade with them.
Yes, thank you so much. And that is, of course, our second last point, as you can see, that the good welcome, the way the Africans welcome these people, you understand, was so nice, and they were encouraged to keep on coming. Chirabo is going to contribute. Then I have Bakita. Fortunate. Are you Bakita? I think. Sorry.
It's Bakit. It's Bakit. Okay. My point is the reasons for the development of slave trading. Yeah, the importance of the West Indian coolie of the West Indian colonies.
West Indian colonies.
Yes,
you said the importance. Like you are saying, slaves could be taken to West Indies.
Yeah, they could be taken to the West Indian because they were near to the what? Because of the Indian Ocean, which is near.
Oh, okay. Okay. She's talking about taking them to India, to West Indies. Okay. Sumini Navunje.
The Indian Ocean trade developed due to political, social, and economic factors.
Yes. Can we have some or one of the political, social, and either in whichever category? Because you've told us they were political, social, and economic. The reasons were political, social, and economic. Anyway, that is what she had to say. I have Galiari Mackenzie. Yes, Mackenzie. Okay, Mackenzie, I think is not ready. Then Abu, are you giving us another point? Because I saw you contributing. Abu?
The need for raw materials in their home country boosted the need for slaves in the plantations.
Yes, thank you for that. That they needed people to work in the gardens to produce raw materials for the industry. Okay, that one falls under industrial revolution. Mariam, are you saying something?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
The need for slave labor in developing countries at the same time, especially in like Portugal, Arabia, France, and America.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you for that. She's talking about the need for slaves in many countries. Okay. So she's talking about the need for slaves in Europe. They needed these slaves in Europe, okay, and the demand was so high. That is why there was a lot of raids in the interior of East Africa for slaves. Okay, we have I think only 1 minute to the end. Our time is almost up, and okay, one more person. That person should be. Some people have already contributed. I think Victor has not yet contributed. Only one, because Victor.
Yes, teacher.
Your contribution.
Teacher, it led to the increase of lives, because for when the slaves were sent to fight in wars, but the Europeans and sort of very many were stayed home while controlling, even in the barracks.
Okay. So now your point is about helping the Europeans. You know, I've not actually got to the point very well. That they were to help Europeans fight in the different battles.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. In the interest of time, we are going to end here. We might not have we don't have time. It is already up. Thank you so much for your contribution. Okay. And you are going to find this information in the Google Classroom. I'm going to send it to your Google Classroom. You'll be getting the notes from there. So thank you so much for listening to me, and have a good day and a nice weekend. Okay, bye. I can see people in the chat saying bye. Thank you so much. Bye too.